Let's join radio pro Carl Mann in the DX Corner right now. Today, Carl brings us another of those DX tips for beginners.
We'll look this time at the fine points of propagation and see how it all ties in with the sun and the ionosphere. First, a quick summary. Picture a D layer of the ionosphere above the Earth only in the daylight, and an E layer of the ionosphere even higher above the Earth, existing 24 hours a day. The E layer reflects shortwave signals. The D layer absorbs the lower frequency shortwave signals during the daylight hours. The stronger the E layer from receiving sunlight, the higher the shortwave frequencies it will reflect. At night, the D layer disappears. And even though the E layer is not at its strongest, it's now allowed to reflect lower frequency signals. You can see how your listening on different bands of frequencies is determined at different times of the day by propagation. And it's now obvious that the sun has everything to do with shortwave propagation. Any changes in the sun will affect shortwave reception. The sun goes through an 11-year cycle of sunspots called the solar cycle. During the peak of the solar cycle, the sun activates the ionosphere, so the maximum usable frequency is reliably higher. Many international broadcasters adjust their frequency schedules higher at this time to take advantage of this and get away from crowded lower frequency bands. Also during the solar cycle, radio blackouts can occur when solar flares erupt. The flares create the northern lights, which absorb radio signals passing through the polar region. Since so many signals travel this way to distant listeners, a near blackout on the bands will be noticed, with only locals and stations from equatorial latitudes heard. More common changes you'll experience with the sun are the seasonal changes. With less sunshine in the winter, the paths of darkness between transmitter and receiver are broad and last longer. For lower frequency signals dependent on the path of darkness, reception will be best in the winter. Reception also is quieter in the winter with fewer thunderstorms in the temperate zones. Some stations will be heard only in the winter as a result. With longer days, sunrise or sunset comes earlier to the transmitter and receiver points, cutting down the listening opportunities using the path of darkness. Also note that when wanting to hear a station on the high frequencies, the best reception will be with the daylight path between you and that station. Remember, it's the sun that strengthens the ionosphere. The most unusual path of darkness that may bring you to DX is called the gray line. This is simply the line of twilight, either dawn or dusk, that stretches around the globe at any given time. When this twilight point is evident at your receiver site and at the transmitter site at the same time, you may be able to briefly hear that station's signals traveling that line, even though it may not be the shortest path between you and that station. The condition will exist only for several minutes. And as the sun's seasonal position constantly changes each day, a specific reception condition from your point to that station gradually will be lost until that time again next year. Another condition similar to gray line is called twilight enhancement. This is not fully understood yet, but it appears to allow a small peak in signal strength from station sites just experiencing sunset or sunrise. As you experience these different conditions of shortwave propagation, you'll soon recognize them and be able to work the shortwave bands to your best benefit. This is DX Tips for Beginners. I'm Carl Mann.
And now with more of your favorites from the 80s, 90s, and today, here's Coldplay on KNLS.
Before I know what it feels like.